Markier. And yeah, the title pretty much says it all. I let her stay rent-free 3 years. She dumped me for someone who doesn't expect anything. Sounds like clickbait. I know. But that's my life now, apparently. Sarah. Beautiful, ethereal Sarah. The woman who could apparently smell my expectations like they were a bad cologne. 3 years. Rent-free. Not a dime. And then? Gone. Packed her paints, her crystals, and her opinions, and skipped off with some dude who probably lives in a van down by the river. The irony is almost enough to make me laugh. Almost. Where to even begin with that mess? Let's just say hindsight's a real bitch, isn't it? So, back to the beginning. It was a gallery opening, some local artist I can't even remember now. I was there for a client, trying to look like I had more soul than a balance sheet. And then there was Sarah. She was different, all flowing skirts and tangled hair. Talking about the vibrational energy of the art. I was a sucker for it, I guess. I was pushing 40, successful in my own way, but my apartment felt emptier every year. She was a whirlwind of color and chaos, and I was drawn to it like a moth to a goddamn flame. Aspiring artist, she called herself. I just called her interesting. Maybe that was my first mistake. Things moved fast. Too fast. Within a few months, she'd practically moved in. Needed a change of scenery, she said. A week later, she lost her job at the coffee shop. Toxic work environment. She called it. I, being the supportive boyfriend, suggested she take some time off, focus on her art. Find herself. I think I actually said that cliché out loud. Idiot. I told her not to worry about rent, bills, anything. Just focus on your passion, I said. Looking back, I basically handed her a blank check to my life. And she cashed it. Repeatedly. Art supplies are expensive, you know. And focus on her passion she did. That translated into quitting the part-time job she'd picked up at the bookstore, another soul-crushing environment. Spending hours journaling cryptic nonsense, and going on a silent yoga retreat that cost more than my mortgage. The apartment transformed into a shrine to her process. Incense, crystals, canvases everywhere. Meanwhile, I was working 12-hour days, just trying to keep up. The initial support started to curdle into something else. Resentment, maybe a slow, creeping dread that I'd made a monumental mistake. I started counting the days. I never came right out and demanded rent. That wasn't me. But I'd drop hints. Hey, could you maybe do the dishes tonight? I'm swamped. Or, think you could pick up some groceries? My card's been taking a beating lately. Or even, maybe look into some freelance work? Just two. You know, keep busy. Those were always met with a sigh, a roll of the eyes, and some excuse about needing to protect her creative energy. The unspoken agreement was becoming a very loud, one-sided conversation. I was doing all the talking, and my bank account was screaming. The breaking point? A $500 bill from some online art supply store. For ethically sourced paintbrushes made from badger hair. Badger hair. I was staring at the bill, and Sarah was blissfully arranging her crystals, completely oblivious. That's when it happened. The dam broke. I didn't yell, not at first. I just asked, calmly, Sarah, what the hell is this? And then, the floodgates opened. I told her I was stressed, exhausted, and feeling completely taken advantage of. It wasn't pretty. It was honest. And it was a long time coming. Her reaction? I was trying to control her, stifling her creativity, trying to turn her into some corporate drone like me. The classics. And then came the line, the one that's been echoing in my head ever since. Eyes blazing, she said. You're making me feel like I owe you something. Owe me? After 3 years of free rent, free food, free everything? The audacity was breathtaking. It was like I'd committed some kind of crime by expecting basic human consideration. I should have seen it then, the exit strategy forming in her mind. That was the beginning of the end. The arguments became more frequent, more bitter. I felt like a walking ATM, dispensing cash and emotional support with no return. Sarah, of course, doubled down on the Artistic Freedom Act. She spent more time with her tribe, a gaggle of equally aimless souls who validated her every whim. I'd come home to find them chanting around a bonfire in the backyard, burning sage and old tax returns. I swear, the air in that apartment started to smell like entitlement and patchouli. And then Jake showed up. A musician, naturally. Long hair, ripped jeans. The whole 9 yards. He was at every bonfire, every drum circle, gazing at Sarah like she was some kind of earth goddess. He was everything I wasn't. Carefree, bohemian, and, most importantly, broke. I saw the way she looked at him, a mix of pity and adoration. It was the look you give a stray puppy, the one you know you can rescue, without any expectations. I knew, deep down, that I was already gone. Just a matter of time. The announcement came on a Tuesday. I was making dinner, something healthy because my doctor had been giving me the side eye about my cholesterol. She walked in, all ethereal and serious. "Mark," she said, "I need to be free." Jake lets me be free. You expect things. Expect things? Like basic respect? Like a thank you? Like maybe occasionally doing the damn laundry? The irony was almost comical. She was leaving a fully paid-for life to go where? To a one-bedroom apartment above a pawn shop, smelling of stale cigarettes and unfulfilled dreams. And I was the bad guy. Really doesn't even begin to describe it. Heartbroken, sure, but mostly just stupid. I felt profoundly stupid. 3 years. Thousands of dollars. And for what? To be dumped for a guy who probably eats ramen for breakfast. The embarrassment was almost worse than the sadness. I started going over everything. Every decision, every conversation. Where did I go wrong? Was I really that controlling? Was I really expecting too much? And the worst part? I started to question my own generosity. Was I just trying to buy her affection? Let's talk numbers, shall we? 3 years of rent at $2,500 a month? That's 90 grand. $90,000. Plus utilities, groceries. Those damn Badger hairbrushes, easily another 20. I'd racked up about 10 grand in credit card debt, just trying to keep up. And my savings? Dwindled. I justified it as an investment. A partnership. What a joke. I essentially funded her extended vacation, her artistic journey, while I was slowly drowning in debt and resentment. The tangible cost of her freedom was my financial security. And try explaining that to your parents. Yeah, Mom, Dad. She left me for a penniless musician after I paid for her entire life for 3 years. Sounds great, right? So I just told them we grew apart. Said she needed space to pursue her art. My friends got the same sanitized version. Nobody wants to hear that you were a complete idiot, that you let someone walk all over you. It's easier to just pretend it was a mutual decision. A mature parting of ways. The truth is too damn humiliating. The worst part is, sometimes, I still miss her. Not the Sarah who left, the entitled artist who thought the world owed her a living. But the Sarah I met at that gallery, the one who talked about vibrational energy and made me feel alive. I know it's a delusion, a trick of the memory. But the anger, the resentment, the embarrassment, it's all mixed up with a lingering sense of love, Or maybe just the ghost of what I thought was love. It's a confusing mess. Looking back, the red flags were there from the start. The constant blaming of others for her problems, toxic workplaces, unsupportive families. The complete lack of long-term goals. The inability to hold down a job. The way she always needed to be rescued. I just chose to ignore them, blinded by, what? Hope? Lust? The desire to be someone's savior? Whatever it was. It was a potent cocktail of delusion and wishful thinking. I saw what I wanted to see, not what was actually there. And that's on me. I'm not going to launch into some rant about modern women and their obsession with self-care. That's not my style. But I do think there's a certain cultural narrative that allows, even encourages, a lack of accountability. The constant emphasis on finding yourself and living your truth, without any corresponding emphasis on responsibility or contribution. Sarah just took that narrative to its logical and incredibly selfish extreme. It wasn't about being a woman, it was about being Sarah. The thing that really gets me is the complete lack of remorse. No, thank you for the years of support. No acknowledgement of the sacrifices I made. Just a blithe pronouncement that she needed to grow and that I was somehow preventing her from doing so. She framed the entire breakup as a necessary step in her personal journey, completely disregarding the impact on me. It was all about her, as it always had been. I was just a stepping stone, a convenient ATM on the path to her authentic self. It wasn't enough that she took my money, my time, and my emotional energy. No, she had to take that painting too. The one I bought her for her birthday, the one she claimed spoke to her soul. Some abstract piece of garbage that cost me a fortune. She packed it up with her other belongings, without even asking, like it was hers to begin with. That's when I truly understood the depth of her selfishness. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the complete disregard for my feelings, my possessions, my very existence. I'm dating again. Technically, but it's different. I find myself constantly scanning for red flags, for any hint of entitlement or manipulation. I keep my guard up, terrified of being taken advantage of again. The open, generous person I used to be is now hidden behind layers of cynicism and distrust. Sarah didn't just take my money. She stole my ability to trust, to be vulnerable. I'm not sure if I'll ever get that back. The thought terrifies me. So, that's it, I guess. The story of how I let someone stay rent-free for 3 years and got dumped for a guy who doesn't expect anything. There's no grand epiphany, no triumphant comeback. Just a quiet resignation. I can't change what happened. I can't make Sarah understand the extent of her actions. All I can do is try to move on, carrying the weight of my own stupidity and a lingering fear of ever being that vulnerable again. It's a lonely road. I walked past that gallery the other day, the one where I met Sarah. It's closed now, another casualty of the pandemic. Seems fitting, somehow. I glanced inside, through the dusty window. The space was empty, stripped bare. Just like my bank account. Just like my heart. And I realized that whirlwind of color and chaos. It was just an illusion. A beautiful, expensive illusion. And I paid for it. Dearly.